Right now, the coldest air of 2023 so far is working its way down from Canada into the US. This blast of Arctic air is going to crash into another blast of warmer air coming from the south, creating a weather battle zone that will cause problems for millions of us over the next week or so. You're going to feel these impacts as soon as Sunday night in the Midwest as temperatures plummet to 30 to 40 degrees below normal. In fact, the wind chill is going to be below zero in northern Texas tonight, and look at Minnesota. Some places will feel like 40 degrees below zero. It's actually going to get so cold that we're going to start to see the Great Lakes really start to freeze over, especially Lake Superior, which is currently covered in much less ice than usual due to the recent warm temperatures. And this cold air is going to spread across much of the western, central, and northern parts of the US as we go into the middle of the week. But all of this information that I'm telling you right now isn't even the most interesting part of what's getting ready to happen. As the cold air from Canada tries its best to squeeze into the deep south, our ridge of high pressure in the southeast will sling warmer air up into the states. This is going to result in several storms forming and riding across this boundary between the two air masses over the next week or so. Now, you might be thinking you've heard this song and dance so many times, and you're right, but this time will be different. Whoever ends up on the northern side of these storms will be cold and snowy, and whoever ends up on the southern side will see heavy rain and thunderstorms. But whoever ends up right underneath where these two heavyweight champion air masses decide to fight is going to have to deal with something much, much worse. Ice. You see, the warm air from the Gulf is going to be crashing into the cold wave from Canada. And as we know, warm air rises, so a sort of air escalator is going to form. And once the warm air reaches the floor of the atmosphere that's cold enough, the air will condense and then fall as snow. But there's a catch. The snow that forms has to fall back through the wedge of warm air, and this will cause it to melt back into rain as it continues to fall. But there's still below freezing temperatures at the surface underneath the warm air escalator, so that should freeze it back to snow, right? Well, it's actually a whole lot more complicated than that. Just look at this clown. It's cold at his house, so he's going to go outside and set up his Yolometer in anticipation of snow. But little does he know he's right underneath the weather battle zone, and a warm wedge of air is infiltrating the cold just above his head. But he has no daggone clue. He's chilling, he's just waiting on the snow. It's been cold at his house all day, and that warm air is starting to condense above him, bringing forth what look like snow clouds. And that's exactly what they are. Way up here, it's cold enough to snow, and that's how the precipitation is going to start exiting the clouds. But as the snow falls through the thicker parts of the warm wedge, it melts and turns into rain. Now, if you go just a little bit north of Mr. Clown's house, there's enough cold air between the melting zone and the ground for the precipitation to turn back into frozen sleet. And even farther north than that, it's all snow. But Mr. Clown's house is at the base of the warm air escalator, so there's not enough time for the raindrops to turn back into frozen precipitation before they hit the ground. So even though it's below freezing down here where Mr. Clown is, it's raining. And now that rain is freezing on impact, and it's creating a layer of ice over everything. And this is obviously a very dangerous situation. Hey, Mr. Clown should have been subscribed to this channel. I've got no sympathy for him. You see, this very same phenomenon is actually going to happen for many of you along this boundary for the entirety of this week, causing major problems. But there's more than one storm that's going to ride this boundary. We're going to have several different shots of ice and snow and rain as we go forward. This first one's going to cause some rain and thunderstorms Sunday night into Monday across the deep south. But up here along this boundary battle zone, we're going to see sleet and freezing drizzle and freezing rain. Watch that persist and expand across the Ohio Valley as we go into Tuesday. And around this same time, another storm's going to be forming down here in Texas, bringing frozen precipitation as far south as Austin. This is likely going to expand even more and turn into a significant ice situation as it moves off to the north and east. Another short-range weather model known as the HRRR is also showing this, but just look at how much more intense the precipitation is down here in the south. Those deep pink areas indicate heavy rain that's going to be freezing on impact. This is how we end up seeing a lot of our worst ice storms most of the time. Currently, the most concerning looking model simulation is the Canadian. It shows a prolonged ice storm from Texas to Tennessee with catastrophic ice accumulations. However, models like the GFS are painting a completely different picture with a shorter event, a smaller impact area, and less overall ice. There's one thing I know for sure though, and that's going to be that any snow that does fall on the northern side of these storms is going to be very light. We're talking about a skiff of snow in the plains and maybe some grass coverings in Ohio. There's a better chance in the northeast, but still nothing to write home about. A lot of the energy from this weather battle zone will come in the form of rain in the south. Widespread 2 to 4 inch totals will lead to intermittent flooding problems through the weekend, so make sure you're prepared for that. But what we've really got to be prepared for is the potential ice. In my opinion, it's too early to talk about exact totals, so let's look at an average of all the weather models. Let's put them all together and come up with a realistic forecast for what we could see. And here it is, a blend of all the forecast models, and it's showing that everybody in the light pink could see up to 1/10 of an inch of ice through Friday. The darker areas could see up to 1/4 inch of ice. Okay, so future Ryan here again. I used the national blend of forecast models here to kind of show you a conservative forecast with no big scary amounts of ice or anything like that, but we just got new data in, and it's showing an even bigger hot spot in Texas. And now also we're starting to see some short range data like the HRRR come in that's showing honestly an ice storm for parts of Texas, Arkansas, and Tennessee. So I still don't want to talk about exact totals just yet. I just want to throw this in here that even just in the short term of me editing this video, the seriousness of this situation is ramping up. So we're going to have a lot more updates coming soon. Let's get back into the regular video. But scarier maps like what's coming out of the Canadian model are likely overdone. So it's important that we take them with a grain of salt. I'd also like to point out that because a lot of this precipitation is going to fall in waves, there will be some time for ice accumulation to melt in between each event. However, as little as 1/4 inch of ice can cause major problems in the form of treacherous travel and power outages. In fact, just 1/2 inch of ice can be considered a significant and damaging ice storm. And just given the information we have so far, I think it's very possible that a lot of us see more ice than that by the time this is all said and done. So if you live near some of these expected hot zones for ice this week, I would go ahead and gas up the generator and get prepared just in case. There's a whole daggone lot of uncertainty here. Ice storms are the hardest storms to predict. Weather people get them wrong more than any other kind of storm, in my opinion. But the signal is there, and you're getting a very early heads up if a worst case scenario does happen. The weather is very complex and frustrating sometimes, but I love it. And if you're still watching this video at this point, I've got a feeling that you love it too. Whether it's the excitement of tracking a storm on the models or simply just enjoying nice, comfortable days outdoors, we all love the weather to some extent. And speaking of love, we're coming up on Valentine's Day. So I've come up with a way for all of us to express our true loves this season, weather. We just released these limited edition, high quality t-shirts made by weather lovers for weather lovers, and you can only get them on my website from now through the end of February. And if you get one right now, when this video goes up, you'll for sure get it before Valentine's Day. So once you get yours in, post a selfie with it on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and use this hashtag, #ILoveWX. That stands for I Love Weather. I think it'll be cool to show the world just how many crazy people there actually are that love weather. So also on Valentine's Day, I'm going to put all of your names that use the hashtag and posted a selfie in a big bowl, and I'm going to randomly pick one of you to win $1,000, no strings attached. I think that this is going to be really cool. If you want one, go get one. I really appreciate everybody that watches these videos, and of course, I appreciate my members. You guys are a big driving force for the channel. That's the weather forecast. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.